First, I would like to say that I really regret that I cannot be with you in Sofia, because yes, I would like to be personally. Thank you so much for invitation, and all lectures were very interesting. So I try to present yes, my presentation. So okay, I will try to share my PowerPoint.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay. Okay. My English is not perfect, but I hope that everything will be okay. The fields of art exploitation, both in the formal and semantic sense, are consequently expanding and evolving. The boundaries between the fields of art have faded. Many creative activities combine formal solutions from various art disciplines, which blur the definitions. As a consequence, the technique ceased to be an evaluation criterion. Each field of art is based on a good knowledge of the workshop, but the material and tools which the work was made with are really the key points of interest of critics. The evaluation of artistic practices must be related to the pedagogical practice, which will open new generation of artists to new fields of exploitation and meanings, from which not only the art of textile can gain. The exhibitions shows in the field of textile art are a perfect mirror which reflects various problems affecting this field and its environments of creators, critics, curators, and students. There's still a pretext for considering which category of activities should include works whose formal theme is textile. Discussion between the concepts of fine arts and craftsmanship also emerged during the last edition of the International Triennale of Tapestry in Łódź. They only seemingly concern how to place selected works in the field of textile. They have a much broader context related to a whole host of issues. Art education is one of them. While preparing the Triennale, I knew that textile art is a great field of artistic exploration, but not separate from other areas of contemporary art. That these fields often interpenetrate and connect. The more and I'm surprised by the voices that sound especially during the events dedicated to textile. The characteristic of researchers and artists, especially those from handicrafts circles who criticize the treatment of textile as an interdisciplinary medium. It's worth mentioning that contemporary artists appreciate the value of artisanal work, not only in the context of technical professionals, but also extended to the ideological social culture aspect. And it's in the broad spectrum of problem that the works and the subject of textile art should be considered. One can consider whatever the analysis and qualifications for art reviews of works made with the use of textiles only in terms of a workshop would not close this field in a kind of box of formal issues, where they would be depraved of multi-layered interpretation. And even in the heyday of textile, as we saw in the second half of 20th century, would be possible with a narrow base of craftsmanship's gaze. To consider this problem, I will go back to the times when the foundation of what once called the Polish School of Textiles were being shaped. The success of Polish artists at the Biennale in Lausanne fell the young artists from Warsaw. At the Academia of Fine Art in Warsaw, the greatest of them had the opportunity to study with great professors who opened thinking of textiles for broader problems. Two of them were of crucial importance. They represented a different personality type, a different approach to the weaving matter, and developed different skills in the students. The studio had a separate program, but it was thanks to the fusion of these different artistic and pedagogical attitudes that the fundaments for future success could be created. First is Elanara Plutenska, who considered her mission to stop the decline of tapestries, which she identified in post-war trends when artists betrayed the roots of this discipline by emuting mass-produced bedspreads. She opposed it with enthusiasm and dedication, making a commitment to rediscover and reactive one of the oldest techniques of pattern weaving, the double warp textile. The professor was on a quest for the true knowledge of arts and beauty of the source in folk culture. She conveyed respect not only for materials and tools, but also for hard work, other people's efforts, and endeavors, in a word, for everything fair and honest. It seems that these pedagogical achievements were crucial. Without them, young talents could not have developed in the right way to reach emotional and artistic materiality and preconduction of autonomy. Plutenska focused on the traditional weaving techniques, but her pedagogical practice went far beyond that, and her actions were determined by perspective of concepts developed by a prominent 9th century Polish poet, playwright, and artist Kamil Cyprian Norwid. Circulation of ideas of beauty, which he professed, painting and sculpture with artistic crafts, as they all instilled everyday social life with beauty. Plutenska, from her professors, adopted the method how to construct an object from materials without first designing it on paper, which opened up new ways of artistic expressions. Composition without design allowed them to reveal expressive properties of the material, to focus on its structure and color. Plutenska made the first attempt to work directly on the loom, disregarding technical designers when she was still a student. However, they were fully developed when she herself took care of new generation of artists. Mieczysław Szymański, the second professor of the Academy of Fine Art in Warsaw, went even further. According to him, textile art could be revived by education artists for whom the discipline is not part of applied arts, but a form of free visual expression. Without rejection the origin of tapestries from folk art, he positions this discipline in the mainstream of the contemporary artistic currents. He believed that a full understanding of textile art requires the artist to be both the designer and the manufacturer. The culture of artistic development of students was as important as development of professional and technical skills which were, however, pointless unless combined with a unique conception, vision, and profound understanding of the work of art being created. For Szymański, textile art was a domain of solving formal problems typical of pure arts, such as color, volume, rhythm, proportion. At the turn of the 60s, following an in-depth analysis of the logic of woven structures, as well as through workshop investigation, the professor introduced the thick thread into the structure of the material. It was a revolutionary move, helping to create a relief structure while highlighting the basic elements of the thread, warp and the weft. The thick thread determined the form of the work, involved the textile with a new artistic value and open up heretofore unheard of creative possibilities. It should be noted that Szymański's initiatives were an intellectual endeavor. They stemmed from an understanding of the principles of construction, fascination with the art discipline, and aspiration of emphasize its unique rather than research for novelty. Something of which we subsequently access many artists who exploit his experiments without understanding them. Szymański also encouraged others to reveal the warp, which is the backbone of woven composition. Previously, from sight under the veneer of weft, it was disclosed by Szymański as rightful component of the work. He encouraged experimentation with diverse type of materials in a matter rather akin to build up forms with the weft on the warp, to discovering new structure and analyzing their interrelation and rhythm. Wojciech Sadley's course, matter as in set design become transformed and noble. The matter itself knows no ethic and morality. Everything hangs on the operation within the work. It was on this ground that such personalities as Magdalena Abakanowicz, Wojciech Sadley, and Jolanta Owicka were formed. When these artists energetically begin to change the perception of artistic textile in the world by promoting the Polish School of Textile, the center of gravity in the artistic education of textile shifted to Łódź, the city with a long and important history of the textile industry. The establishment of the Central Museum of Textiles here and the organization of Triennale of Tapestry also influenced the development of the artistic center focused on the Łódź Academy of Fine Art. The Academy, established in 1945, hired several eminent professors, but the strong mark on it was left by Władysław Strzemiński, the legendary artist who in the interwar years previously developed modernist ideas of art, which permeates all fields of human activity, combined utility with high artistic value. The idea survived at the Academy of Fine Art in Łódź. It was developed by artists who also made a significant contribution to the activities of Polish School of Textile and its international success. Antoni Starczewski and Janina Tworek-Pierzgalska. Two artists, two contrasting individualities, different methods in individual creation and in work with students. Rivalry in the art area was the source of inspiration for both of them. The pretext for the creative competition in the textile art was the Biennale in Lausanne. Starczewski taught at the studio of carpet design, but his artistic practice were far beyond the area of fabric, textile. He realized in ceramic, graphics, paintings, and sculpture. In each of the fields, he analyzed similar problems of rhythm, the meaning of gesture. He developed several sets of form, which he called alphabets, and from them he composed entire layouts. He was interested in transferring ideas to various fields of creative activity. The fabric was one of the means of understanding the nature of art expressed by repeating arrangements of elements, actions such as hands movements, the fitting specificity of which he tried to reflect in graphic or sculpture. The most important thing is the unity of ideas. Choosing an artistic discipline to express thoughts is a secondary importance, he said. Janina Tworek-Pierzgalska is an example of an artist for whom the technical source is the tool to define her own self. I was to create objects that live their own life, that are part of myself, said Pierzgalska. I'm not advocate of analyzing an artwork with connected to technique. The division into disciplines has been blurred. In my opinion, it's the work alone that counts, disregarding the material or technique it was made of. For both artists, the vision was the most important. Enveloped in the graphic form, it's found its form in monumental tapestries, whereas Starczewski translated the language of ceramic alphabet into the textile weave. Also, with respect for the characteristic of the medium, his variety of elements in apparent unity, he's adhered to the sequence of rhythm and systems not correlated in every discipline the artist pursued. Pierzgalska's tapestry store a motion charge equal to their counterpart in drawing or graphic miniature, the same sensitivity and expression of line. These two artists decided to share their knowledge and experience with a new generation. The achievement of Professor Ewa Latkowska and Professor Włodzimierz Cygan show how a broad view of textile, both in the terms of the environment and individual artists, can enrich this medium. Therefore, it's important to integrate the education of textile art into broader context and perspective to ensure its continued flourishing. Today, many artists reach for the medium of textile and involve them in their activities because they appreciate culture codes written in it, which gain strength in connection with the haptic nature of the textile work. The longing for experience, tactfulness, even sensuality and intimacy is certain one of the factors. In the world of researching for identity, it's the properties of the textile that other the creators and in this treasury of formal possibilities and connect with a wide range of ideas and symbols. The ancients of textile to contemporary artistic activities enrich them with aspects with the fabric is already permitted with, which is career. An important element is the desire to return to the experimental connection of the work, the physical presence of the artifacts. Of course, many other phenomena brought the attention back to the textile. One of the most important, in my opinion, is the voice of a generation of the artists from whom the discussion as whatever the textile is a craft or on art have become a little important, and certainly not the first class and undetermining either form or content. For them, the message has become the most important. So they use the properties of the textile, then strengthen it. And because the materiality of the work allows ideas to resonate more fully, they use the medium to talk about contemporary problems. It has also become important that textile can be an element of social integration and craft techniques, again, combining people in common activities. Following changing, presenting new artistic trends and importantly, determining the ways of expression the problems of the present day is only possible when we change the creators to face the idea, the problem. The problem not only technical, but also in terms of meanings, with a whole set of symbols and content contained in the fabric. And how these work together. This is a task that must be set at the stage of artistic education to build the ability to consequently choose the material to express an idea, but also to listen to what matter can bring to the work throughout the set of meanings assigned to it. In such it is possible to establish a dialogue, confront creative attitudes, and research for common levels of artistic expression. To be able to consider the medium of textile in the context of the latest phenomena, it's necessary to give a chance to express themselves on burning, close, and current topic. Thank you very much.